Greetings. Welcome to Magic with Tamala Farron. Today we're going to talk about one of the greatest tools that you will use if you're a witch. It is the mortar and pestle. They have been used down throughout the ages and they are absolutely amazing for grinding up the herbs that you've gathered and you've dried. This is just a touch of what I have and collected over the years. And I do utilize them all, trust me. Some are antique, some are just cool. Some are handcrafted, some out of stone. This is a stone one. One of the things I wanted to say before we get started is sometimes if you buy clay ones, and the larger clay ones at that, you will get pestles like this. Now, the clay ones don't usually last, and that really sucks. But never throw these out. You can use them in your stone ones. You can use them in other aspects of grinding your herbs. And if somebody else needs a pestle for their mortar, their pestle is no longer good, or it's splintering or something stupid, then you guys can help each other out. The mortar and pestle is really, really simplistic. You put the herbs, take them, and you put them inside the mortar. And it doesn't take much to do, especially once you've dried everything. It is actually quite easy. You just sort of pull down. And this here is tea. It's going to be for tea. It's mint. And you just keep pulling down so that you've got the leaves in here and they're dried. You can use fresh leaves and grind them to get as much of the oils out of them, the energy out of them, for fresh teas. But I find that I like to blend my teas, and I like to blend them in dry leaves. So unless I'm making a real quick tea from stuff that I've gathered, and you take the stems out. So I've got a bunch now in here. I'll show you. And it doesn't take much to grind them. It doesn't take much at all because they're already working so that you've got, it's already breaking down. It's already dry and you're just crushing it. And you can do different steps on how to, you can turn it, grind it, you can push down along the side. Either way, you're going to end up with stuff that you can blend or jar, and your herbs will be much easier to work with if you want to make incense, if you want to make teas. It is so simple. I have a habit of gathering from the woods, from the fields, from my garden, from friends that drop off herbs we trade, it saves a lot of money. You get fresh herbs, you hang them to dry, you've already washed them, you've hung them to dry, and now you're grinding them and you're jarring them. This is phenomenal. This means that we are actually connecting and using the energy of the Earth Mother. Mortar and pestle, absolute must. You want to connect. And everybody says, okay, well, what if you're not an herbal witch? There's going to come a point where you're going to have to blend something for magic somewhere down the road. And you're going to need one. You don't have to collect them or be gifted a dozen, but you're going to need one. And you can get them fairly cheap. I mean, this one here was like $30. And it's solid stone. This, again, stone, but it was like $30 as well. You can pick them up at yard sales. You can pick them up at secondhand thrift shops, antique shops. You can pick them up at dollar stores. You can pick them up at Walmart. They're everywhere, and they're simplistic. Like I said, it's easygoing, whatever you choose. But it's a tool that you're going to need, especially if you're blending teas or you're doing up herbs for magic. You want to break them down. You want to jar them. You want to have them at their full potential. It's easier to burn this on a charcoal rather than just great big dry leaves. And it's so easy to crush them and get them ready to jar. Trust me. I am looking right now at like 300 jars. And it's so easy to use. This is something that's been used for thousands of years. It's not hard. We used to have gatherings where everybody would come and sit down and have their mortar and pestle, and we would grind for hours and just jar, like mince and you name it. You name it. Basil, rosemary, you name it. Everything and anything. And by the time we were done, the covenstead was filled with bounty. So this is something, like I said, I suggest you get. Even if it's only one and you keep it on a shelf most of the time or on your altar most of the time, it's a tool that is going to be very useful, especially if you're getting into herbs. It is one, that and an herbal knife. Those are two major things that you'll need. It's absolutely phenomenal how you can work with this and you feel the connection to the herbs. You feel the energy. And because you're working with it, you're adding your energy to it. So if you're making up a healing tea and you're blending the different herbs and you're grinding them and you're packaging it or jarring it or whatever, the energy that you're putting into it, as well as the energy of the herbs, it's elevating the power and gifting whoever's going to drink it the extra healing. It's really phenomenal. I know I keep repeating that word, but it's how I'm feeling. It's so good, and the energy is so nice. You can go into stores and buy expensive teas, expensive herbs, and you can spend like $500 on a bag of stuff that you could go out into the fields and into the forests and grow on your own. And it costs absolutely nothing. You harvest, you hang to dry, and you literally grind it up and jar it, and you saved yourself so much money. It's a relief to know that magic does not cost you. You as the witch choose whether or not you spend too much money. But you don't have to. So this will work forever. You don't have to keep buying them. One, like I said, is enough. And if you do want to collect or are gifted many, that works too, because I use different ones for different things. But it's centered on being able to do this. Like I said, I'm facing on this wall over here a gazillion jars. And it's so empowering when somebody comes to me and asking for help, and I've got the ability at my hands to do something right away. I don't have to go out and get everything. I've got a wonderful collection that I can use. And you may not want so many jars of stuff, but the basics at least, you're going to need it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I have 2 more coming up. Please click like and subscribe, and have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. Blessed new moon.